This is your Wall Street wake-up call. Deutsche Bank reporting a surprise profit for its most recent quarter. Let's bring in Craig Erlam now. He's a senior market analyst at Oanda, based in London. So, Craig, Deutsche Bank reporting a net income of 278 million euros. Analysts were expecting a loss of 610 million euros. That's a big difference. What happened?
Yeah, a billion swing is a big difference. I think the company has clearly far exceeded market expectations at a time when I think it really needed to give the market some good news. It's been an awful year for Deutsche Bank, and I think these profits is going to maybe give some people something to be optimistic about with regards to the stock. I think people welcome the fact that litigation costs and some of the restructuring costs were lower than expected. The fact that they have topped up those litigation costs as well, costs for the future, I think is also a plus. But really, the elephant in the room here continues to be the settlement with the DOJ in the US and how big that's going to be. And it looks like we could be waiting some months before we find that out. And as long as that remains the case, and the size of the fine could range from anything from around 5 billion to 14 billion, I think the stock is going to potentially find it difficult to really push on.
Well, the Justice Department is seeking $14 billion. Now, the fact that Deutsche Bank's litigation reserves now stand at 5.9 billion euros compared to 5.5 billion euros in the previous quarter, does that signal, beyond the public statements that they've made, that they really do expect this Justice Department settlement to be much lower?
I think they certainly believe that the settlement is going to be much lower. They've stated that in the past. The question is just how much lower are they going to push them? If they push them back towards $5 billion, I think the market will see that as a big win for Deutsche Bank under the circumstances. If it's closer to 10 billion, then that may once again just trigger concerns about whether the bank is able to pay such a fine and continue to, continue to remain stable in an environment which is already so uncertain. I think that is, like I say, that is the biggest thing that's really hanging over the bank right now.
Well, although one sliver of good news, its Tier 1 capital ratio actually went up to 11.1% from 10.8% in the prior quarter. Was the sell-off we saw in the stock about a month ago due to worries about its solvency stemming from this $14 billion settlement? Was that an overreaction in your view?
I don't think it was an overreaction, because we've got to remember that the issue in isolation is a big issue for the bank. The fact that this is not an issue in isolation overall is what people are concerned about. This is just the latest in a number of scandals that Deutsche Bank seems to have been involved in. We've heard of one more that it could potentially be involved in since the fine was announced. So the fact that they're upping their litigation, the fact that they're upping their tier 1 capital is a plus. But it is also a concern, because I do think this is just one of a number of things that Deutsche Bank is going to have to continue to deal with. And while the next 12 months may not be quite as rocky as the 12 months that's just passed, I don't think it's going to be straightforward for them either.
All right, Craig Erlam from Oanda. We'll leave it there. Craig, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm Scott Gamm, and you're watching The Street.